Well, Hazbin Hotel is finally out. After years of delay, I never thought we'd see the day. But here we are. I've watched 6 of the first 8 episodes, and I'm currently waiting on that season finale. And my initial thoughts? I'm admittedly kind of divided. Like, there's a lot to like here, and it definitely has my attention. But I do have my criticisms, which was expected. Nothing is ever 100% perfect, except for me. I'm awesome. I'm amazing. I'm just like Adam. I'm incredible. And Luna too. She's perfect. Now, for the record, I plan on doing a full review in February for the entire first season once the finale is out. But for the time being, I'm gonna share my first impressions. Like, I've noticed quite the range of opinions about Hazbin Hotel, especially on Twitter. You got some folks who love it, and others who think it's complete garbage. Also, being Twitter, you know you're going to get a very nuanced and cerebral point of view. I couldn't say that with a straight face. I hate this website, but I can't quit it. But like, is Twitter right that Hazbin Hotel is just a bunch of bad words and smut? Personally, I think it's getting old. We need higher standards, damn it, and more than just sex jokes. Oh, by the way, this video is sponsored by Adam and Eve. Hey, if there was an appropriate sponsor to attach to this video, it is this one, baby. Hell, Adam is literally in the show.
Do you know who I am? I'm fucking Adam. I'm the original dick.
So, who likes sex? Raise his hand. This guy, guilty as charged. I'm not beating those gooner accusations right now. I don't even know what a gooner is. Hey, Angel Dust, what is a gooner? Tell me, you probably know.
This body was made to be exploited.
Jokes aside, if you are a tax-paying adult and you want to spice up your life a bit, then hit up the link in the description down below. Adam and Eve offer discreet shipping, 24/7 customer service, and a 90-day no-hassle return policy. If something doesn't fit, just send it on back.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Okay, so this next part, I gotta read verbatim. Today's video is sponsored by AdamandEve.com. Use code SABER for 50% off one item, plus free shipping in the US and Canada, plus free rush processing. Some exclusions apply. Did I do good, Adam? Was that good?
I know, I fucking rock.
And hey, who knows? Maybe they'll have something Hazbin Hotel themed someday. Give me that Angel Dust themed, stripper pole or something. I don't know. What is my life? The lengths I go to pay me and my team.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to not have sexual intercourse before marriage. Yes!
So for those who don't know, Hazbin Hotel started as an independent animated pilot on YouTube and was created by Vivian Madrano. And needless to say, Viv's biggest strength has always been her strong visual aesthetic. From bursting onto the scene in 2012 with her Die Young music video, to all the way back to the early days with Suphobia, her art style has always been very distinct. Hazbin Hotel continues this tradition with fantastic art direction and animation, with bold character designs and widely varied shape languages. All the denizens of hell are extremely expressive and emotive, which many people jam with. Like they have their own demon sonas. When fans can make sonas of your creation, that's a good sign that you've done something right. Viv's work has always been this fusion of technical expertise and early 2000s edge that dominated the early internet. It's like if an artist just never decided to stop drawing embarrassing, edgy drawings in middle school, and through sheer force of will, stuck to their guns and somehow totally ended up making it work.
I respect the strategy.
But the art style is as divisive as it is strong. Lord knows, there are some people that have never really vibed with Viv's past work. It is certainly not for everyone. For some, her eccentric character designs could be seen as too visually busy and just plain over-designed. Hell, the designs for the main characters here have all been slightly adjusted and pulled back from their look in the initial pilot. Probably just as much for overall readability, as well as streamlining the animation process for the full series. Regardless, this is still very much a Viv show. All the characters in the show, including background characters, are extremely busy in their design. And if you try to take in the entire frame for an extended period of time, you might become a bit fatigued by the dissonance of colors dancing around the scene. If you are not a fan of Viv's style and a penchant for visually busy characters, then I don't think Hazbin Hotel is for you. Overall, I do love the visuals, but it can also be a little inconsistent at times. There are some interesting staging choices, but sometimes the wide shots look a little flat and messy, just because the characters are all so thin and detailed that they still get a little lost into the extremely detailed and beautiful backgrounds. That being said, the cleaned up designs and polished animations look really nice. I like how all the characters have a soft shadow underneath them to help them stand out from the backgrounds. The camera work, though, it can be a little distracting and jarring at times. I'm not a big fan of how much janky movement there is. There are also some awkward jump cuts now and again. For example, Vaggie facing Charlie here. And then we cut to a different angle where she is still in the exact same position she was in the previous cut, just facing the other direction now. There's also this weird moment where Charlie is singing and Vaggie is staged behind her, and we suddenly jump cut to a slightly zoomed in shot of Charlie, and Vaggie is just gone. People complained about this one online, but I thought it was just an awkwardly edited trailer. But no, it actually is like that in the show. Now, was it boarded like that, or was the editor going a little too ham with the camera movements? I'm not sure. It's just a little awkward to look at sometimes. Again, I love how shamelessly over-the-top and DeviantArt OC-esque these characters are. I think it's so cool that Vivian has stayed true to her vision. However, the biggest flaw with these designs is how tall and spindly they are. There isn't a lot of variety in body shapes and sizes, which any professional character designer would tell you is a big no-no. Now, I don't mind it too much personally, because I still enjoy the designs regardless, but I acknowledge it's a weakness in the character lineup. Personally, I wish that Husk was more broad in his size. That would match better up with that Keith David voice. But hey, that's just my opinion.
Thanks, pussycat.
Oh, fuck you.
All right, let's talk about the 6 episodes so far. Episode 1 begins after the pilot, and while it's not necessary to watch it to understand the premise of the series proper, viewing it might help flesh out the concept a bit more. Watching it now back-to-back with the main show might be jarring though, since the designs have shifted, but also the voice cast is completely new. While I think everyone in the Amazon series did a really great job with their characters, it does kind of suck that the original cast from the pilot, a talent that helped propel the show into the position it was to get a full release in the first place, were jettisoned for traditional VAs. Now, I'm sure it was probably for legal or union reasons or whatever, but it still sucks that the whole rags to riches narrative of this series had to have some victims along the way. Regardless, the majority of the first few episodes are largely expositional, setting up the whole concept of the Hazbin Hotel itself, who will be our main characters, and what their deal is. There's also teasing of some of the villains and underlying conflicts that will most certainly continue to brew in the background as the season continues. Now, the story itself is good, and the breadcrumbs it lays out to pique your interest are interesting enough. But again, it is still way too early to make any real conclusions. The cast largely falls into recognizable archetypes, but that's hardly a bad thing. They all play well off each other, with a predictable and enjoyable degree of friction from contrasting personality types, leading to some fun banter, and that banter then pushes the story into smaller conflicts that need to be solved as episodes 1 through 3 unfold. It's fun, it's raunchy, it's crass, it's exactly what you want if you love the 2019 pilot. Episode 4, though, that definitely takes things up a notch. This episode has caused a bit of a stir on the web for the subject matter it involves. Episode 4, Masquerade, is the first episode that takes a deeper look at one of our main characters, Angel Dust. While shown as outwardly promiscuous and sexually brazen, we get a deeper look into the underlying conflict of his character, which had been hinted at in previous episodes, and honestly, not too difficult to infer given his actions. This episode pulls the curtain back and focuses entirely on delving deeper into Angel and why he is the way he is. It is a staggering shift in direction for the series, delving deep into emotional trauma, SA, manipulative relationships, regret, and self-loathing. Angel Dust is a character putting on a facade to mask the broken person he is. He dissociates from his own predicament and takes on the character the rest of the world perceives him to be, as the only way to reclaim a small bit of power and the powerless position he gets himself into. A lot of people have been railing against this episode for being insensitive to SA survivors, for taking a delicate subject and glamorizing it, especially during the first musical number in that episode. Personally, though for the record, I am not an SA survivor, so take that for what it's worth, I could not disagree more with this reading of the material. The glamorization isn't of the abuse. It's of the industry that Angel Dust works in. The glitz and slickness of the images is a reflection of the adult industry and its hollow, vapid presentation. Angel slips into that mode and reflects it back outwards as a coping mechanism. But as the song continues, the mask continues to slip off. The entire point of the scene is how the duality, the mask, the poison of his predicament is slowly killing him. This scene isn't glorification, it's a condemnation. Episode 4 was the best of the first batch of episodes, and it wasn't even close. The material covered was heavy, but treated with respect. The exploration of Angel Dust as a character was resonant and emotionally moving. And the resolution to the conflicts of the episode with both Husk and Charlie were both narratively satisfying, while not simplifying the complexity of those issues. What we have here is the start of a solution, not the solution full stop. You as a viewer can be uncomfortable with the topic of SA and not want to see it portrayed in media. You can find the subject matter distasteful or simply too sensitive to explore in a show like this. All that is fine, that's your opinion. But to go the extra step and deride others for getting something more out of it, or to harass the people responsible for it, is honestly just kind of pathetic. Be as descriptive of your distaste as you want. Just don't start getting prescriptive about it. Not everyone is going to share your reading of the material or your own sensibilities. Then there's episode 5, and we are formally introduced to Lucifer, Charlie's father. Obviously, there's some distance between them that is shrouded in mystery, plus something going on with Alistair's opinions about the King of Hell. Alistair even takes potshots at Lucifer and antagonizes him through song about how Alistair and Charlie have a father-daughter relationship. Personally, I wish this was more shown than told, as we really haven't had any real exposition with Charlie and Alistair in the series up to this point. Like they barely hang out together. It feels like time is flying by, but the pacing doesn't really reflect that to me. Honestly, the pacing is one of my biggest gripes about the show so far, and it can lead to some tonal whiplash and speed-running exposition. This is even more apparent in episode 6. Charlie gets to go to heaven to plead her case to heaven's leaders. I was so curious if God would be a character, but that does not seem to be the case, which is a relief to me. That would remove way too much tension and overcomplicate things. Best to leave it as angels versus demons, a la Diablo. Oh, by the way, spoilers, if you hadn't guessed, but I totally predicted that Vaggie was an angel from the get-go, and voila! That was the case. More tension, higher stakes, but like I said earlier, I feel that way too much plot is covered in songs, almost like they're trying to rush through it. Of course, that's kind of like the point of musicals, but just an observation of mine, I feel that way too much is covered way too quickly. The song segment during the Heaven hearing included Vaggie being revealed to Charlie as an angel, the heavenly host discovering about the genocide in hell, and Charlie discovering that Heaven doesn't even know how demons, even if they are reformed, get to heaven. It's a lot to unpack, and I wish we had more time to flesh it out. But hey, if you're gonna quickly move through some plot, might as well do it through song. That's another big standout in Hazbin Hotel, the music. Just like in the pilot, Hazbin Hotel is a host to multiple songs in each episode. The Angel Dust song from episode 4 is the obvious standout example, but all the songs are very solid. Like that Losers song has legit been stuck in my head all week. Going into the last 2 episodes of the season, I imagine it will end on some big cliffhanger. Lilith is still a mystery, and we don't know where she is except that she's been gone for 7 years. Alistair, too, is a bit of a mystery. What are his motives? He, too, was gone for 7 years. Coincidence? I think not. I do wonder what his angle, or should I say angel, is. Personally, and this might be a bit out there, but I think heaven is just another circle of hell. That there's just a single afterlife, and heaven is made up of oppressive, self-righteous demons in disguise. That is why the demons don't go to heaven when they are reformed. Heaven is trying to hide something, and I think it's due to them wanting to maintain a status quo. Overall, I'm very pleased with the series despite its flaws. I keep coming back for more, and I'm genuinely invested in the story, its mystery, and the characters. That is a win in my book. So I'm excited to see how this first season ends and hope that we get more. Like, I can already see it happening now. Season 1 ending, with Charlie and Vaggie forlornly looking off into the distance, preparing themselves for the next heavenly genocide. Except heaven only sent one guy to do it this time. Huh. One guy? Can one guy do it? Who could it be? What's that music in the distance? Oh, God.
You'll never defeat the human spirit. You'll never defeat God. You'll never win.